Hmm. Another Wednesday at the beginning of the month. What does that mean, kids? Cameron Flask. Good to see you, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Oh, good. Good to see you too.
Just kind of shell shocked from things and the week and
Yeah.
why I cannot seem to get my monitors to behave and
That
all
was
that
happening to
stuff.
me earlier today,
I
too.
can't. I had it so dialed in, like mirror this to this and extend that to that. Done.
Yeah.
And now it's like I've been spending the last like 15 minutes trying to get it right, and I still can't.
I was on a
But
Zoom earlier.
I can switch
Yeah.
to you guys if we want
No,
to
no.
do that
Yeah.
for whatever reason. But I can't show my normal monitor to save my life.
It's
Anyway,
crazy. I don't know why that is.
it's good to see you
This
guys.
monitor, you too.
Feels like
This
it's been 3
monitor
months.
wasn't working. It feels like 3 months. It really
Yeah.
does. Um, I understand why we're doing this once a month, but it is weird because I feel like I'm making like we have to do huge catch up every time
Yeah.
when
We
it's
just need to
weekly.
talk
Yeah,
on the
just
phone.
talk more. Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
We need to do it.
How's Europa over there as you are in your darkness, Ben?
Yeah. Oh, good. I was in the UK for a week last week, which was I flew for the first time for a long time because I've been driving backwards and forwards. So that was awful. The trip was good.
awful.
Generally, the weather was terrible. Just the flying with gear and the whole carne thing. I have it so
Yeah.
dialed in with going by car now, and then you get like certain everyone else is great. The customs guys are great, and then you just get one, and it just ruins your entire day.
Yeah.
Just doing battle. You come out with it because you know what your rights are and how the whole thing works, but just having to deal with it at 11 at night when you've traveled, or it's just one of those. Anyway, other than that, all good. So I'm now sitting for. I've got like weeks of editing, but I'm going to break it. I'm going to break it because Camera Image. I've talked about this before, but for those of you in the chat who have never heard of this festival,
Don't tell
it's
me
a
you're
Polish. I am going. It's a Polish cinematography festival in a town called Torun, which is a very nice place in northern Poland. It's amazing. It's just lots of screenings, lots of incredible seminars by lots of incredible DPs, but it's all very just together. There's no kind of us and them thing. It's all just very mingly. You go and hang out with all these incredible people, learn loads of stuff, and there might be a drink or two involved.
Yeah.
Every now.
Yeah,
and again.
you say you have weeks of
day we need
editing.
to all come.
Yes. It's going to take you a week to 2 weeks to recover from that thing. I think, but maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
I'm going because every time I've been before, it's always been the first 2 or 3 days that have been carnage, and then you just feel grim and watch films for the rest of it. But I'm not going until the fourth day, so I reckon everyone will have settled down then, and it won't be quite as.
And you'll be ready to drink, and they'll be like, "No, could work
Yeah,
out
but
well."
that's great. Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of drinking, I think it's time for us to get a drink. Who's first? And welcome everybody.
I think Ben should go first, so I gotta grab mine here.
All right, Ben.
All right.
Ready? There we go.
So I'm my drinks cabinet is looking very much is very like Caleb's at the moment. So I have about
Oh yeah.
four bottles of whiskey and this is the best of them in terms of what's left in the bottle. So I'm on the Talisker, but I need to go and replenish because I've just been killing the dregs of the bottles this week.
Your lighting is so moody
what's up?
today. It's just falling on into black. It's good.
You're at
Yeah.
the home office today. It's been a while since we've seen you
Yeah,
back.
you're in Czech, right?
Oh no,
Yeah,
maybe not.
Czech.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Last time I was
awesome.
here, I think. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
was here last time, and the time before that I was in the UK. Yeah, it was a really short UK trip because normally I go for 3 weeks and then we always end up doing the show there. But it was an in and out job this time.
All
What are
right.
you two on?
Caleb, what you got?
I am back to this Prairie Street Brewing and checking out for the first time their
There it is.
Oktoberfest.
Oh,
So
and yet another beautiful
should
can.
be delist.
Yeah,
Another
the cans
one.
are
Yeah,
awesome. They're
they've got to figure. I heard
Amazing.
from a friend that like they're selling their brand. Like you can license the brand. So there's why is this not focusing?
Oh, it was
In
wasn't it?
India, apparently there's a Prairie Street Brewing.
Really?
because they've licensed the brand. Yeah. So they've got
Hopefully
it
the
figured out, I guess,
recipes
over there.
too.
So
Because who knows? All right, mine's pretty easy. I'm going with the. Hopefully this works. Boom. El Cheapo. I've never had this. It's a blend. It is Scotch. It's called Copper Dog. It
The
drinks
state
kind
of
of.
that bottle would suggest that you have had this before.
No. I mean, I haven't had it before this bottle. Jeez, man.
okay.
And it drinks very light.
that's
know?
what I thought you said too.
No. I've been.
It's a nice
I've been-
easy sipper.
Yeah, I've been on kind of this cast strength thing, So when I started drinking this, I was like, this is like the ginger ale of whiskey. But cheers, gentlemen. Sláinte.
Cheers. Fantastic to see you both.
And you too, and everybody in the chat. David, what are you drinking? That was meant for Carol because I know he's having a cocktail of some sort or another. Good. So, gentlemen, I think a little bit out of nowhere, but we've had not one but two cameras that just were announced this week. R6 Mark II. And then today, really the big surprise for me, nobody gave me any idea that this was happening, the XT5 from Fuji. So
I've seen nothing about the XT5 at all. I didn't even know.
I can talk
until you
about that
mentioned
one.
it.
I'll talk about that one briefly, only because I spent 5 minutes reading about it before the stream. R6 Mark II looks to be the evolution of the R6.
It's quite minor though, isn't it? There's not. It seems a very incremental change. It's a 6. All the 4Ks. Yeah, well, because interestingly, I'm sure this has come about because I bought this last week.
What do we got? Ooh, R5C. You should have bought mine, man.
R5C.
Whoa.
I know, but shipping taxes.
Yeah.
all
You
that
did it.
stuff.
I'm shooting with it.
places
I'm
you do
shooting
the
with
full
that
trick.
next week. I'm going down to
It's
LA
great.
for 2 days for a green screen shoot. And he's got C300 Mark IIs, and I'm like, well, what about that R5C? Because that's a sharper camera. You're shooting green screen. I'm going to get more out of that camera, I think, than the C300 Mark II.
Sharp.
Sharpy,
It's great. It's very
Yep,
flexible.
It's a great,
It's kind of-
great camera.
Yeah, not without its quirks, but it's very good. But so the R6, which I've kept my R6, so that's what I'm shooting with now. So that's a nice compact kit, the R5C and the R6. But I saw that and I was, oh no, I'm gonna have to upgrade. And no, not really. So it's the big differences are it's down, everything's down sample from a 6K
Right.
for the 4K. So there's nothing really in extra as far as I'm aware in terms of
How is that different from the previous?
Was that not either? I can't remember. It's
I
a
don't
slightly
know if it was
higher.
down
I don't know.
sample.
Maybe,
Was
maybe
it?
that's. I don't know if that's the
R7
same. I don't know
is
if
though,
you're saying
right?
that because that's different.
Right.
I thought that
Isn't it a
I
new
thought that was
sensor
maybe
though?
different. Apparently, it's a new sensor. Yeah. It's got the new hot shoe that's then compatible with the Tascam audio recorder, and I guess there'll be more. Yeah. But I looked through it and thought, not huge step up, and some improvements to image stabilization and AF. But then
And recording time.
there's no recording limit,
unlimited?
which is
Okay.
apparently,
It better be.
but not every
It
test.
is.
R7.
It is
Not-
unlimited. It is unlimited.
Yeah. So the only review I've read from anyone that shot with it was Johnny Berry, and he said that the image stabilization didn't, it was still a bit wobbly, still wasn't amazing, and the AF seemed to be okay, but nothing again particularly groundbreaking. But I think firmwares and all the rest of it, we'll see where it goes. But it didn't seem like something I was going to need to run out and buy. But all good,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah, and speaking of AF, I just realized, because we only do this once a month, that Sony also we had the FX30, which I think had already been announced and we briefly spoke about a month ago. But then we have this A7R5 that also came out of nowhere.
Right.
And that's
Yes.
also full frame, obviously a more expensive camera.
You've used that
but
camera, right?
the 5, have you used the new 5? No.
Me? Which camera?
Yeah.
Which camera?
The
The
new
A7
the
the A7.
No, I saw like the brief on it, but I didn't. I haven't played with one. I got my FX30 in,
Awesome.
and I love that camera.
Yes. One or two?
That's fun. Well, to start one, I originally had two. Canceled one of the orders so that I could buy a insane amount of lenses. I'm going to do a video on all the lens options, and then I'll return a bunch of lenses and probably pick up another
Got
one or something.
So XT5, before we get back onto the Sony camera, is essentially it's a departure in my mind for Fuji, because I've always thought of the XT series, especially XT3, XT4, as their video-centric cameras. These are our mirrorless cameras, but they're more video-centric. And it seems like they've departed from that now with the XT5. Slightly lighter body. It has the same 40 megapixel sensor that's in the XH2, not the XH2S. So it's got the larger megapixel. It has IBIS inside of it. It doesn't have all the ProRes stuff, so you don't get all of those formats inside of the camera. It's like $1,700 US, and I'm not sure. It seems to me that the XH series now is really the video-centric series, and this is now just a hybrid camera, but is not what I would consider the camera that they're trying to push for the people who are creating video, personally. It's not the stack sensor. It is oversampling. So you're getting a 6.2K internal, but if you shoot 4K, it's oversampled. There's some nice things about it, but judging by the XH2, the readout is probably not as fast as the XH2S. So you're going to have more rolling shutter for video. So the advantage is that you can get higher resolution, but I don't think that, like, you can't do in the XH2 better stills camera, but you can't do 4K 120 in that camera, and you can in the XH2S.
Right.
So
which is really interesting.
It's really interesting. So I don't know. I think it's getting a little cloudy there. I'm not quite sure.
Seems a little sloppy, or a little.
That
I don't know.
camera
definitely seems a bit confusing.
The XT5 is kind of the one that I'm scratching my head on a little bit, because it sort of changes the message now. But going back to that Sony camera, and also the XT5, which is why I wanted to talk about it, is apparently the XT5 is going to have a 3-way screen. So you're going to be able to flip up, flip down, and also flip out like you have on the... I don't know why they didn't put that on the FX30 as well. Like that put the screen wherever you want it to be. I wish that was on all the cameras.
The FX30 is a downside there. Because if you have it like on an arm doing like a tabletop setup, most cameras you can tilt the screen at least a little bit down. Yeah. You can't at all on that one. It's just straight back. Yeah. Or all the way forward, straight forward. But you can't have the camera facing down.
You can if you flip the screen out, though, right? Can't you if you flip the screen out? That is weird.
Oh, hang on a second.
Yes, go for it. Isn't that strange? So this is a head scratcher as well. So you've got the XT5 where you've got a 3-way screen, but they just released the XH2. Why doesn't that have that 3-way screen?
But it's such an annoyance.
It really is.
And that was always
the XT.
It was when in my foray into Sony, that was always a thing that drove me mad.
It gets me
articulation on the screen.
So the XT3 flips up, flips down, but it's connected to the body, so you can't flip it out. You can't flip the screen out. Then they came out with the XT4, and they stopped the flip up, flip down, so it can only be flush up against the camera body, or you flip it out and then you can tilt it up or down. it's if they've already developed a screen that does 3-way, then why are we getting these other screens? I don't know. Show me what you're going to show us, Caleb.
It's nerdy,
us.
but all right.
No, I'm ready.
A7S, flip forward, and you can keep. Oops. Wait, flip back.
Yep.
No, let's pretend you're filming down, right?
Yeah.
You can flip it where you can see from below, right?
Yeah.
FX30. Oh, I lied. Just kidding. False alarm. I don't think
that's why we do these things.
Something was off.
There's something weird.
Just kidding.
But that's okay. But then that doesn't have the new 3-way that the A7 R5 has. And Correct. It's sort of like, why, when those cameras were released seemingly weeks, we'll say months, but really it seems like it's weeks apart from each other, FX30 and A7 R5, why don't they put that superior screen into the FX30?
Because they just copied and pasted the FX3's body.
Yes, I know.
So they didn't do any changes, which is kind of nice because then the bodies are interchangeable with your gear.
True. But true.
Yeah.
But that's a heck of a camera. And is there anything else in the A7 R5 that's sort of a standout besides this AI-based autofocus system that you can think of?
Just that it's, the insane amount of resolution, and I don't think there's really that much that was like earth-shattering. That was the big one, right?
Yeah.
So from a video perspective, I still think, the readout, I don't know what the readout speed is on that, but I still think this camera, the A7R4 or A7 IV, is the camera to go with, unless, again, rolling shutter.
They've definitely come a long way in two areas. We already know that they're sort of now leading the pack when it comes to autofocus. But Sony's color science is... I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was like, Pat's here. We were shooting with the FX9, and I think it really started with the FS7 and FS7 Mark II. That was, for me, the change where I started to see it, at least in their digital cinema cameras. They did Cine EI and S-Log3 Cine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. S-Gamut, But it seems to be in their mirrorless cameras now. Are you really happy with the color now, Caleb?
Oh, yeah. I'm full Sony now. I mean, you're watching S-Log3 with my log to Rec 709 LUT.
Yeah.
And I mean, compared to the way things were with the A7 III back, it's so much better.
Right.
So I'm very, very happy. So I've been filming everything Sony, which is why I need to get rid of my R7 and my R5C. But before I do that, actually, I need... They wouldn't... I was going to say, Jem, maybe you can hook me up with Fuji people, but they probably wouldn't be interested in this. But I want to kind of do a side-by-side of everyone's color science right now, or just out of curiosity. Shoot everyone's log side-by-side. Canon on like the R7 and the R5C.
Yeah.
Sony.
Yep.
Fuji. Maybe Nikon and Panasonic, and just put everyone's base LUT on, and I don't know, just kind of mess around with that. Be kind of interesting.
So
like out of the box, obviously you can make whatever look like whatever, but it was just kind of fascinating to see what the current gen of everyone's stuff.
So here's the big question: 2 days after Halloween, is this nail in the coffin for the GH series for you, Caleb? Is Micro Four Thirds now in the rear view mirror? I don't know what's happening. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I'm selling my GH6, so kind of. There's not enough there to keep me with I think the full on like nail gun into the coffin, fully auto nail gun into the coffin was the FX30. Yeah. You just can't compete with that.
Yeah.
A cinema body, like the camera's amazing. It's kind of the first, I love it because I can shoot stills with it still, but everything about that body is just, I barely rig it up. It's amazing. It just feels perfect in the hands. There's quarter 20s across the top, and battery life's amazing. The way the display is, it feels like, a cinema camera. And the price on that is what? $17?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's well under $2,000
significantly, it's like $500 cheaper than a GH6. So that's a tough.
So you're losing some of the video assist features that Panasonic has always been great at.
Yeah,
a few.
You're losing some, but you have LUTs in camera.
Mm-hmm.
So like I made and I sell a false color LUT for S-Log. I can just load it directly onto the camera, and I have false color.
Yeah.
I don't have like waveform. There's no de-squeezing, so there are some things definitely still missing.
Yeah.
But what you gain, the larger sensor, insane autofocus, lens options are insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, question from Brandon, R5C or FX30? It's a tough one. I mean, FX30 is a, super 35 millimeter / APC, APS-C sensor. So it's a smaller sensor, but I don't always consider that to be a bad thing.
I don't know why you'd compare those two cameras though.
They're very different price point wise.
Yeah, four.
Yeah.
3.5 FX, whatever, 30s.
Yeah.
For the same price.
Yeah. I mean, if you're video centric, and you're okay going into Sony's ecosystem, which I think anybody should be okay with at this point, then as Caleb's saying, I mean, even 2 camera bodies and getting into lensing, FX30 makes a lot of sense on paper and probably in reality. R5C, I think of a power Canon user. I mean, you're in that category, Ben, who's a still photographer and somebody who shoots video, wants the advantages of full frame, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's 2 cameras in one, the R5C. Yeah. That's it, which is what every review's said about it. And that's its genius, is that it is a stills camera on the one side of that switch. On the other side, it's a proper cinema camera.
Yeah.
To a large extent. So I would say, and as a stills camera, it's phenomenal. It's really good. So yeah, I would say it's the only really true kind of hybrid.
Right. And
what's the megapixel on that?
Where they're like, everyone's like, this is a real hybrid. But no, this is an actual hybrid camera. It literally has a Canon R5 menu system.
Yes,
and then you flip the switch, and it has Canon Cinema series. It's just like a C500.
Yeah,
it's a real
it's
actual
like
for the first time
camera.
Cinema or hybrid. Yeah, proper hybrid.
It's totally. Very cool. Yeah,
and is one of the only ones that maybe the only one that's designed specifically that way. At the same time, what's the megapixel on that sensor? Do you know?
It's 8K native.
Right.
So
for stills, a lot, but yeah.
The stills are about 8K as well, I seem to remember. Yeah, they're
I don't know what that. Oh, Avinash says 24.2. So it's not a 40 megapixel sensor. Yeah,
that's not right.
Is it? I thought it's a higher megapixel than that. Somebody look that up for us.
5C. 45.
Yeah.
And is the readout pretty fast on that? It's pretty fast, right?
Yes. It is.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. So
you really need to get it going to see any wobble. It's good.
Well,
And the question I was asking you, just to digress very quickly, Caleb, I was asking you about how that was using non-image stabilized lenses with the electronic stabilization, and it's all right. It's pretty good
on Canons.
On the R5C.
Right.
Yes, because I was
that was the big one of my big. Yeah.
So
they still don't have it on everybody else, but you get that occasional. No. Where it just, but
it does one bizarre thing which I haven't had it myself, but I've seen on Potato Jet's review of it. There's a dog, I think, moving up and down, And the sensor, because it's not using the gyro data from the camera to then do its corrections, the background then starts going mad. So if the subject starts going up and down, the background will start going shaky. But for a lot of things, it actually gives a more organic, less wobbly. So it's not quite as stabilized, but in some ways it feels more natural, but not in everything. Yeah. So I think having one camera with one system and the other with the other, all good. I'm kind of happy on that front, which would be my biggest worry about it.
I do wonder with the Sony AI stuff, they're applying that to autofocus, but with the way they're handling Catalyst Browse and all this crazy stuff they're doing with stabilization, I wonder if they couldn't use AI in the future as we have these huge megapixel count cameras. Maybe they can get it to a even higher megapixel count and then be able to crop in slightly and have like really, really good image stabilization digitally.
For sure.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and there's other things that we're going to probably see in the future. Getting a camera to, let's say, 100 plus megapixel in making sure that they're great in low light, high ISO, blah, blah, blah. And then being able to film with a single camera and then extract, multiple 4K, so the concert would be a great example. There's nothing that you can do to say, okay, I've got a camera here that's centered to the stage and there's another one offset and another one offset. But, maybe that doesn't matter for certain things where you're filming the entire stage and then you can go in and you can get singles or groupings of people. We already can start to do some of that, but I think as we start to get even higher, like 8K becomes standard and you're shooting at 100 megapixels, and just the options that you're going to be able to have with those cameras in the future to be able to crop in and do things is just going to keep getting better and better, probably.
And if it gets good enough, if you could have a full frame camera, switch it into, I don't know, cinema motion mode, and it crops into Super 35, and then it's pretty much like gimbal smooth.
Yes.
Like if you have a ton of room and you could just eliminate gimbals and be able to, and the readout's fast enough where there's no rolling shutter and it can just perfectly.
I mean, for sure. Oh, that's what you see how good the new GoPros, as much as I hate GoPros, the image of them, but that stabilization, that electronic stabilization in the latest round of GoPros is nuts. So it's all clearly doable and coming.
And it's not that shabby on smartphones either. No. There's a huge crop that happens, but on the iPhone 14 I was watching some videos and it's pretty amazing how smooth it is. The center stage feature is kind of garbage because, I just tested. I don't know why I did it, gents, but I'm not in the middle of post for anything major. And I broke the golden rule and I upgraded to Ventura on day one. Oh yeah, I did. And I did it because I wanted to use the continuity camera feature and see how that worked as a webcam, which surprisingly works really well. I just wish you could flip the camera and use front facing and rear facing. So that part is a little tricky because you have to use the rear facing as far as I can tell. And then so you have to monitor on your computer. You're not able to use your iPhone screen as sort of your monitor of your image.
Right.
Which would be helpful, especially for composition and things. So the portrait mode is great. It's a little artificial, of course, but it works well. But as soon as you activate that second camera where you can see stuff on your desk, it just falls apart. And center stage falls apart too, because it needs to have a reduced resolution, because it needs to be able to move around with you. So it's essentially doing real time kind of reframing and cropping, I guess. And we're getting there, though. I mean, we're probably no more than 2 years out. By next year, though, at this time, it'll be exponentially better in terms of what you can do.
Just had a show idea technologies that we think are dead in the next 10 years. Because as we're talking about this, it's like I'd be terrified if I was a gimbal manufacturer exclusively, like what Zhiyun.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd be really starting to freak out because like it's just a matter of time, right?
It is. It is a matter of time. And
especially the guys that make the ones for iPhones, like that's a couple years, and that's
who's still buying those?
I know. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much stuff in here right now, but who's to say that we couldn't make? I mean, look how small a mirrorless camera is right now, and there's so much AI going on with what's being captured with these right now in order to do the things that we're already able to do, and LiDAR and all of the other things. Why can't we have in a couple of years something that's this thin and this size that has a lot of it's being handled by AI to compensate for a smaller sensor, but who's to say that they couldn't put a 1-inch, they're already doing it in Sony cameras, but even larger, super 35 millimeter sensor. There has to be some distance probably, but I don't know. It's mirrorless. It's optics that have to work with it, but they can lick that. They can figure it out.
For sure. And this was a really interesting thing when I went into the camera shop, which is a camera where I bought the R5C. I bought that when I was in the UK last week. And that camera shop I used to work in before I started doing this for a living. So I know the manager there very well. I try and buy as much kit from there as I can. Wilkinson cameras.
Yes, I know.
If you're buying stuff in the UK, they're amazing. The service, the way they structured that purchase for me was like, there's no online place that I could have bought that in the way that they did my Part X stuff, the way that they divided it. Amazing. Anyway, he was saying that he's enjoying his job so much more at the moment is because compact digital cameras are dead. They do not sell them. They do not stock them anymore because exactly what you just talked about. There's phones, and then there's sort of more high-end mirrorless, and there's nothing in between now. I mean, there are obviously, but they're just not selling them because why would you?
Yeah.
That was kind of an interesting thing that I hadn't. Obviously, you're kind of aware of it, but for someone actually to say we do not sell mirrorless, so we do not sell compacts anymore.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of things dead, and there'll be new stuff. But things are It'd be interesting to see 5 years from now where we are with mirrorless cameras. I'm not saying they're going to die, but where do camera manufacturers go from here right now? This is an interesting time. Right?
Or, I just had a crazy concept. We've been talking in the past about how like everything's going to like iPhones, right? And these computers with cameras attached. And how, someday cameras will be dead and it'll just be like a box that just can emulate whatever you want. What if it's the other way around? All the like phone AI compute power just ends up in the cameras, and we still have cameras. They're just all smaller and like PCs on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that new monitor solution, the CMO, is really interesting because it's sort of one of the Axon, the CMO, where you're taking your iPhone and you're making an HDMI monitor for your, you know, it's interesting because you're using in that way the opposite, but you're using your smartphone as the ecosystem, a very full featured app built in and around it. And somebody's figured out the solution to be able to get around what a lot of people haven't been able to, which is how are we going to use our phone? I mean, arguably an iPhone has a really great display, in terms of color accuracy, so on and so forth. So they had to build a good app and then an easy way for people to connect to it. It still has some issues, but it's going to be interesting to see where we go. Because there's another product category. I mean, monitor companies. Where does that go in a few years?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you see things like the latest version. I literally, for doing this, in fact. The latest version of Lightroom had landed, or Photoshop with, I can't remember which, but it's got all the new AI masking stuff in it. It's insane, and it's not even right. go and make a brew, come back in 5 minutes while I have a think about this. It's just instant. So if that is and I mean, it was an easy image that I was testing this on, but it was remarkable. So testing background, subject, all that stuff, which is already coming into the phones. But if all that's built into the cameras, if that's really so good, that AI, that it's clearly not taking a huge amount of processing power, and you're putting that in and you're generating that in camera, it's very interesting. And then the other thing that I think will be interesting is how much of that data is then sort of captured in camera, and how much of that is then, there's a much greater synergy between the cameras and the software that we're then using for post, which will be interesting as things goes on. I suppose we should probably do the challenge, should we? It's like 25.
We will. Yeah, we will. We just didn't have as many submissions. Sony, by the way, is in a very good position for a lot of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, it's what's unique about them, besides every other company in this space, is they make shitty camcorders, and I say that in the nicest way, but why the hell are we still making camcorders? I don't understand.
There's dads. Dads are still out there, and they've got kids at soccer games. So
I need a 2/3 inch sensor. Let's go. I need a 300x zoom. So we've got, they're making those. They're making digital cinema cameras. They're making mirrorless hybrid cameras, and they're making smartphones. They're in every product category. They're uniquely positioned.
And TVs and sensors.
Everything. Well, the sensors is the given.
Thing.
So Sony is, I mean, of all companies out there, I mean, you know, Apple's
actually. They make computers too.
Yeah, they make everything. So, and I mean, feather in the cap, Sony Vegas. Let's be honest. No,
that's true. Zing.
They just seem
Bring it back down.
They just seem to have this totally different corporate culture. You kind of imagine what the board meetings must be like, or the engineer to management meetings are like at Sony compared to Canon. Although Canon are sort of seeming to be jumping away from this a bit. Whereas Sony, they go, right, I've this thing. I've come up with this thing. It's amazing. It's kind of, and they go, put it in everything now. And Canon, it's kind of, don't just sit on that now. Like, 5 years. We'll come back to you, and we'll start sticking that into maybe the topic. It's just always been that much more kind of protection, where Sony chucks everything as soon as everything's come out. They've been the ones that have driven they're the ones that have driven all of this whole mirrorless thing, and how we now got these amazing things. That's all Sony, and doing what they've done, and forcing everyone else to.
They're in such a good position. Yep. And Apple's never going to make a camera. Well, they'll keep making cameras, but they'll be in phone format. Right, and we'll see amazing technology there, but Sony is in a very unique position. All right, we know they're healthy right now, we think. All right, here we go. Nice to see some Auchentoshan in here, an Oban 14, so people are getting on the whiskey.
I saw
some shout outs to people's own cameras.
What's up, Brandon? Brandon's got a 805 Classic. That's a fantastic beer. It's good, solid beer.
I got
some stuff. And Wilder has a
California
Sony
thing. It's great.
All right. Inspired Frame, number 2 challenge. Tisk. Only 2 external submissions. And I'm going to do that to myself, too. I'm telling myself off, because I will say that with the crap that's happened to me in the last few weeks, this was a last minute. And I had all these illusions. I had all these illusions of I'm going to do this big setup, and I really did have a movie that was going to be the basis. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm going to save that for another Inspired Frame challenge. But we only had 2 additional submissions. If it's more than 2, I'm telling you who it was. It was going to be we've got David Carroll, we got Pat McAvery. Those are the 2 externals, and then the 3 of us. I don't think it's going to be as epic as last time. I think last time we had a lot more submissions, and I think it was a little more interesting. I would love to do this again, to be honest, but maybe we need to incentivize it with maybe a little incentive of a lighting product or something like that, or I don't know what that's going to be. So I think maybe we talk about that. We'll do a year-end wrap in December, which will just sort of be our, chatting about some of our favorite gear and things like that. And maybe we set up for the beginning of January that people do something, and maybe we theme it and we don't say it's Christmas because we know people celebrate lots of things, but whatever your inspired frame is should be holiday themed, meaning it comes from content that happens around that time of year. I have one movie in particular that just popped into my head that is not holiday themed as a movie, but it takes place during the winter time, and maybe something like that would be fun. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah. Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Caleb's like...
Rye hard?
No, it doesn't.
Fry jarred?
Wait, that's a different kind of movie. I don't think we're doing that one. Rye hard. I
don't know why. It's time. Rye was...
Yeah, no. It's...
All right.
No, okay. So let's do this thing. So we've got 5 submissions for the inspired frame.
Foot massage.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what.
Rick comes up with them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's Mighty Ducks. You got me there, Rick. Unbelievable. We'll do it alphabetically. I have no idea what we're going to see here, except for I think maybe one of the frames because I opened it up. But here we go. Should we do it? Gents, here we go.
Let's do it.
Go for it.
B for Barden. Boom. Ben, film frame. You are the photographer. You are the model, and contains nudity. Oh, I'm excited now.
Snap.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this is what was going to be happening.
I thought we'd better put a little caveat on just in case anyone's easily offended or easily aroused.
Are you ready?
Prepare yourselves.
Wow. Okay. Have another drink. I'm drinking a little bit more now because I have to prepare myself. And boom. Oh. I think, I don't know. I have some ideas, but I don't know for sure.
I'm going to go, I could be wrong on this, but my first initial gut reaction is John Wick.
Ooh, good guess. No.
It's not boxing related, is it? No.
It's not.
Girl with the dragon tattoo?
No.
Wait, where's the naked part? Are you just not wearing anything below?
It's that pixel just beneath his beard of chest or shoulder.
That's it is shoulder. So yeah, I did have
it's a great photo.
Get wet.
It is.
Thank you.
Brilliant highlight is just dynamite.
Yeah.
So I try. Whereas a lot of the time, and had given more time, this was something I needed to do in the house because I've just got such an enormous ton of editing. The weather was horrible yesterday, and it's a bit of a cop-out. So shot deck, flying through, going, okay, what can I do quickly here? And then I really have more or less just tried to match it from the original as closely as I could with the lighting. And it was a lot more of a ball ache than I imagined it to be, but I think it's relatively close.
I like it. Anybody final guesses in the chat? Anybody? Spicoli? Bueller?
Train Spotting, yeah, it kind of looks like no, there's no one's got it, I don't think.
Interesting.
Right. Who was guessing a more Ono?
This is the first
coffee?
one that's not guessed.
Ono coffee last time. Last time. Nobody's going to guess mine.
Last time everyone got it.
Yeah, I know. All right, so should we next page it? Ben? All right, here we go. Boom.
Go for it.
Oh, Javier.
Holy balls. How'd you get it so close?
So
the tile
good.
and everything.
So
I like
good.
yours better, actually. Oh, it's a long format tile. Nice.
Yeah, I know. I was almost tempted to Photoshop in double the vertical.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nailed that.
So,
awesome.
They're gray tiles, but
so No Country for Old Men, right?
So No Country for Old Men, yeah.
Yeah, great.
So
great.
It is
interesting that you had that movie because that winter movie may have been made by the same filmmakers as the ones that made this film.
Okay.
Ethan Drive. Drive is one of my favorite movies, by the way. I love that movie.
Amazing.
Okay,
me too.
Amazing film. film.
So
okay,
there is a setup shot to show you how that came about.
Cool.
So the tricky thing was to avoid light spilling onto tiles. So that is a Godox AD200, which is a great little flash. So it doesn't articulate in the way that a normal on-camera flash does. Yeah. But it's got bags of power for its size. It's full ETTL. And I've just rammed that into an Elinchrom. I can't remember what the model was. It's the old little portable thing with the battery pack that was separate to it. And that's got a grid in it that just pops in. And I can't remember what degree it is, but it's quite tight. And it just fit in and wedged nicely, and that just gave it, so it was spotty enough to give that kind of quite hard light and keep off the tiles. And
wow, Ethan. The TTL stands for through the lens, and it's a game changer. I mean, I'm not saying it just was created, but if people are using off-camera flash or they're using strobes and things. It's pretty great because it can get people into using those tools. Huh?
Yeah. So the beauty of using ETTL in a nutshell is you expose for how you want everything else around that to be.
Yeah.
So you forget your subject, work out what kind of fall off you want, expose the background, and it will then, with the modern cameras, it will then work out, oh, there's his eye. Let's do a little test flash, which you don't see. That's my exposure. I'm setting that for that particular point, and everything else. You just set the camera up in manual, expose for the background, and then the flash just does its thing. I actually had to take that down by 2 stops, I think, on the flash, just because it was throwing.
But that's what's great about through the lens as well. If you have your little radio transmitter and you just say, I want 1/3 of a stop less or more, or 2/3 or a stop or 2 stops. It's good stuff.
It's really good stuff. And that was cheap, that thing. And it's an amazing unit. It's very robust. Oh, and just quickly, it comes with 2 things. It comes with a normal kind of flash head, but also it comes with a round, like proper bulb in the way that you would with a normal studio monoblock head. So you can, and then there's an adapter that's, I don't know, $20 on top, which you can then get a Bowens mount for it.
A Bowens, not
But it's superb for the money. Great,
loved it. Okay,
super great photo, just fantastic.
I'm actually making an executive decision here. I'm leaving one of these till last because it's one I looked at, and I think it's worth saving it till the end. All right, we're going to Pat. Ready? Is there any more slides in yours, Ben? Or did we go through all of them?
No, that's it.
Awesome. Loved it. It's great. Well, you think you phoned it in? Wait till you see my shot. Okay, so you thought about it and you went into a location. So here we go. Pat, here we go. November 2022, frame challenge. Here we go. And next page. And here's our shot. Everybody take a look. It's guessing time. Anybody? Spicoli? Bueller? Chat? Come on
this in. Looks, the vibe and the color is giving me Social Network kind of vibes.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm stumped with this one.
Okay. We're going to give the chat a couple more seconds here. We only have 3 more after this, so I think we're going to be okay on time. We get another Social Network coming in. Ozark.
That's a great suggestion. Yeah, the green, for sure.
Yes. Fantastic. Okay. So true.
Yeah. Okay, you ready? Should we?
Is that a W2?
Here we go. Yeah. Let's zoom in on that. Okay. Simple project. Shot with FX9 and Cine EI mode. 4000 ISO with 28 to 135. Lit with computer screen at near full brightness. Aperture MC out of frame at 5%, just for a little extra. Graded with Resolve. I don't use it much, so this is a good learning tool. Let's see. And ta-da! Somebody nailed it. Ethan.
Very good.
You're on fire today.
Well done,
Very
Ethan.
Nice. Very good.
Super nailed it.
All right, who's making more
money?
Even
the bed's the right kind of wood. It's good.
It is. Here, let's go back to our original. Boom.
Attention to detail.
There it is.
Great. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. There we go.
The facial expression and everything. Just need to punch yourself in the lip there.
Yeah.
And I think that looks like a tax document as well.
Nice. Ridiculous.
Very nice.
All right, here we go. All right, next one. Here we go. I'll get mine out of the way here, and then we'll do Caleb, and then we'll do David. Okay. Here we go. Cool. And this is phoning it in, Gem. No, so really what happened
Bleep,
was
bloop,
I
bleep,
bleep
blop,
bleep bleep
bleep,
blop
bloop,
blop
bleep,
bleep
bloop.
blop blop. Are you playing the little tiny violin?
24. No, 24.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know,
yeah,
when, like,
oh
it's counting
yes, I
down?
know. Yeah, from the font face,
your
from the
font.
typeface. Yes. I went on Shot Deck and I realized that I didn't get to do what I was going to do last week. We'll blame it on the sickness, and then I was like, okay, it's Halloween. We're going to a trunk or treat thing at my kid's school, so hopefully I can find something. So I started scanning through images on Shot Deck, and I found like 2 or 3 images, and I said, hopefully I can find. So stop it, Pat. I'm sorry, I'm cracking up. Something that I might be able to find with one of the kids who is showing up and doing the trunk or treat. And if you don't know what trunk or treat is, you show up and all the parents basically set up the back of their vehicles with candy and lights and moody music and crap like that. So here's my...
It's like trick or treat, but in a car park.
Yeah. So all the kids go around the school.
Thing I've ever heard in my life.
Anyway. It is. Well, no, there's other things that are more American, but they're not good. So let's go ahead and keep going into this. There are things that are very American that we don't want to talk about. Here we go. And there's my inspired frame. Okay. And I don't think people are going to get this one because I think it's a little out of left field for you to pick the movie that it's from.
Sicario?
That's a good guess, actually. They would actually. I should have just done that. That would have been better. Because I think that
you could find a frame that looks just like that.
I could. It's always Sicario.
I'm pretty sure the Netflix frame on for Sicario is pretty much that.
Yeah. So anybody else in the chat? Ethan. If anybody's going to get it, it's going to be Ethan or Ono Coffee. But Ono, I don't think is here today. So let's see if anybody can get this. Movies from about 12 years ago. Ethan gets it, right?
Black Hawk Down, Batman.
12 years
ago.
Edge of Tomorrow. That's a good guess.
Yeah,
Batman. Yeah, Black Hawk Down. With that mask. Yeah, it's an inspired frame. I'm definitely not copying it here. All right, so I just show you I have 2 inspired frames. The second one is really the
SWAT,
one.
that terrible 2000s movie.
Perfect. No, not that. All right, I'm stumped. Here we go. There's 2 frames here. The first one is sort of the first one I looked at, but the second one is the one that I used as the final inspiration. If you don't know the movie, I'm not going to be surprised either. Anybody know this movie?
Oh,
here's the other frame.
That's
the inspired
frame. About 2 weeks ago.
Joker. No.
No.
It's the heist thing. It's set in Boston.
Oh yeah, and by the way, the Batman guess is your
Ben
clue.
Affleck.
Yes, he directed it. Yes. And then it's a place, the town. There you go. You got it, DJ Succotash. There you go.
Dang.
So I apologize, but it's not a great one, but it was it's what I could get. So, and kind of the hollowed out eyes.
Really leaned into the whole nun thing.
Thanks for that. Appreciate that. I was looking for a freaking nun. I was looking for a nun, but yes, the one with Ben Affleck. There's a Jeremy Renner's in that, and a few other people. It's a decent movie, but it's
Pete
just
Postlethwaite. It's all right.
We're not winning any awards here, meaning me. Okay, here we go. Caleb, we're in. Boom. Here we go. Caleb Pike.
I did this morning.
All right,
Talk about
love
Hail
it.
Mary.
Here we go. Boom. Ooh. Well, I think we. Okay. Oh, do we? I think I know what this is, but I'm not 100% sure.
Any guesses?
Anybody?
Steve Jobs.
It's tricky. Yeah, right.
I was
the
saying
mouse
the same thing. Yeah.
lean that way, but that's not correct. Yeah, don't think Apple.
No.
Has nothing to do with the hardware.
War Games.
Another good guess, but no.
Is that an Apple IIe? No. What is that? What, that mouse? That's old school. That's an Apple mouse, though.
I don't think
Apple
the mouse. Yeah, well, 100%. Yep.
Okay. Weird Science. Oh, don't even get me going on Weird Science, David.
Yeah.
I was trying to pick up girls for a month and a half going to see that movie with my best
Brandon
friend.
got it, and David got it. Or David got it first.
Really? Wait, how come I'm
Social
not seeing that on... Oh, that's what I was thinking as a first frame, and then I didn't say
Social
it.
Network and Brandon.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but then I was like, oh, there it is. One of the
complete carb. I was like, what can I shoot? And I literally set a timer for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just grabbed random items to make it. And
I love it.
And then actually you'll see a side by side. Just copied it, and then there's 2 behind the scenes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And the tone of the image is there. Yes.
Next shot,
the vintage
hell of a lot better than
just
the
paper.
town.
I used a lamp on the left, and then I used a cheap, crappy LED tube with paper, a foam board for some fill, and then I used my sweater to give some negative fill on the hand because there's a little.
Is that what that is on the right hand side?
Literally the most.
Cool.
So just the most jank, and then I actually shot this on the FX30 like I would film it, and then graded it with my LUT pack, and just because I thought it would look more real as opposed to photo editing, and I just what was the thing I was gonna say? So I pulled the actual image into Final Cut. Yeah. Because I'm always fascinated. Like all 3 of us right now are like overexposed for like a movie.
Yeah.
And that granted, it's a darker scene, it's at night, it's an interior, but like that's under 26 IRE on a waveform. What are you talking about? Original photo.
I'm not
the original photo. No.
I know.
Well, yes. But like if you pull movies into a waveform and
I know.
Waveform, like
they're all
dark.
The way on the they're all the way at the bottom of the waveform or
unless
to
it's
the
a
left
Marvel
on
movie
histogram.
in Dolby, HDR, Dolby Vision. Everything's dark. So I thought that was interesting. But anyway,
3 minutes to go. I love it.
All right,
3 minutes to go. David Carroll coming in strong. Here we go.
How many 600 C's are going to be in this one? Just joking.
There's got to be at least one 600 in here. Frame challenge number 2. He's getting it. In the old days, he was giving me files that were like aspect ratio of like 3:17. So we got it now. You're down with this situation.
We love you, David.
We do. And then I don't know what this page is here. This is the blank page. But I'm going to go with it. I tried to get rid of it, David, but I don't know what happened. And here we go. Are you ready, everybody? 1, 2, 3. Boom. Dude.
Oh,
come on.
The Exorcist.
Come on. Yep. Well, I mean, Ben said it. Gotta be.
Very cool.
But
very cool.
Should we see the actual frame? Here we go. Oh. Well, let's look at the lighting.
Yeah.
Holy! It's fucking amazing. Who needs an EOS R6 Mark II? I love this. It's amazing. 600D Pro with no C. Yeah. Oh, there's another 600X. They're all working though, and you got a 1200 in there.
1200D Pro.
Well, look at the shot, man. You got to get something for that. Come on. Yeah.
Fog.
Come on.
I want to know where the fogs come from. Where have you got the because
look at that. Beyond. There's the original, right?
That's great.
Oh, come on. You did great. Nice. Look, there it is. There's the breakdown.
There it is.
There it is, right there. Frog. Come on. I saved you for last, David, because I think the amount of work. I mean, you did indie last time, and you did this. You're coming in strong.
That isn't someone who's bodged this together with a 45-minute timer like we all did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful. I mean, the original is beautiful, but I mean, I what I really like about this inspired frame is the talent you got is like a hobbit like me, and I mean that in the best way, because the small scale of your talent in the frame almost makes it creepier. It's like, is it like a man-child? Is it a kid dressed as it makes it creepier, in my opinion, because this guy right here, it's trouble, but this one right here, I don't know what's gonna happen. No split
That's
pea
great.
soup. That was really good. Really well done. There you go. And beautiful stuff. Good.
Great.
That's what we need more of in the future.
Yeah, except for that last one. Well, I guess they guessed mine. But it's kind of the
yes.
The show of what is that? Whereas last time, I mean, down to the most obscure
one for
stuff.
One.
People nailed it.
Mine. Yeah, Man in the High Castle, ridiculous. I don't even
but
know.
But me and several people figured that out.
That was ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. We got another one, unless something changes. First Wednesday of December. It'll be our celebratory year in review. It'll really just be fun and hanging out. And David's talent was my girlfriend, because I didn't have a 2-story building. It worked. It was all good. Loved it.
Yeah.
There you go. There was something that seemed a little off, but in a good way for a horror film. Gentlemen, any parting words before we sign off with all of our friends here?
Well, just always wonderful to hang out with everyone. Really good fun and good effort for the two of you that did the challenge. Both great. And yeah, we will see you in a month. It goes really quickly.
Yeah, let us know.
Let
us. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What? Sorry, let us know what. Tell us.
I started interrupting Ben. It suddenly hit me like everyone should like submit what the final show should be. Like, should we do a best of? Should we do like our favorite gear of the year?
Or drinking games?
Just have a good chat. Yep. You got that one.
Send us some ideas. Really, that's a great. I mean, just send something.
Send them to the last show at thec47.com.
What, the last show? That's it. We're done. No,
of the year.
2020. Oh, yeah. You can send it to the last show, or Lava Cats, Three Dongles Down
at the C47.
Yeah, send it to Lava Cat at the C47.com. No, just send it to contact at the C47.com or challenge at the C47.com. It's a beautiful thing. Look, everybody, we'll see you in a month. Enjoy your families. And if you are based in the United States of America, you've not only got a big, depending on what state you're in, election week next week, but you also have Thanksgiving coming up. And that, for me personally, is my absolute favorite holiday of all the holidays that exist, because there's no agenda except for hanging out with your family and friends and eating food, and hopefully not getting into a pissing match with somebody who are your family or friends. Usually doesn't happen in my house, but good luck with that, everybody. It's a beautiful thing. Love you guys.
Yes. Love you all too. Thank you for watching, folks. Yes.
We leave you now with these parting words. Thank you.